What's up, y'all? Happy hump day. I hope everybody out there is feeling good. So before we get started, I just want to show you guys some courtesy and thank everybody who clicked on this video to give it a watch. I appreciate the continued support. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and get down to business. And I want to talk about Malcom Jamal Warner's widow, Tanisha, because she just filed a $1.2 million lawsuit against Malcolm's mom, Pamela. Now, before we get into the gist of this lawsuit, I just have to bring this up because it's been eating at me. It's been stabbing at me and I just can't shake it, y'all. So we know that Malcom Jamal Warner passed away, unfortunately, on July 20th, 2025. And what's so puzzling about this filing on the part of Tanisha is that she decided to file this lawsuit against Pam on the 1-year anniversary date of Malcolm's death.
Trashy and tacky.
Now, if you want to give her some credit, she did post a tribute on the same day, and it says, "Thank you for holding us and so much love during this tender time. Tomorrow marks our anniversary and my heart is wide open. For the first time, I'm sharing a glimpse of the love that began it all. I can still hear my husband's laugh, still feel the way he made room for every part of me, every tear, every dream. Today, in his honor, my daughter and I are launching River and Ember and officially opening the Warner Family Foundation. Together, we carry the legacy my husband and I began, one that nurtures children's inner light and gives young artists the freedom to create outside the lines. This is love, still moving, still making, still carrying us forward." Now, even though she posted this heartfelt tribute to honor her late husband, I just think it was trifling as hell for her to file that lawsuit on the same date that he passed away last year. Because it comes across to me like you were trying to be spiteful towards Pamela because you haven't been able to rectify the situation behind the scenes. And so on the anniversary date of Malcolm's death, you decide to file this lawsuit against her, knowing that would ruffle some feathers. But anyway, within this lawsuit that Tanisha filed, she says that Malcolm agreed to provide her with a number of financial benefits under a prenuptial agreement they signed back in May of 2022, just days before tying the knot. But she says that he failed to follow through on several of his promises before he passed away. She says that Malcolm agreed to maintain a $1 million life insurance policy where she would be named the sole beneficiary if something were to happen to him, but she claims that he never purchased or maintained the policy. Tanisha also says that Malcolm failed to make annual tax-free payments of $16,000, fund a Roth IRA for her, or pay her a $5,000 monthly salary for serving as his chief of staff and assistant during the marriage. So we have $1 million for the life insurance policy, more than $50,000 in anniversary payments, $30,000 for the IRA, and $195,000 in unpaid salary. What a hell of a contract. No wonder why people are electing not to get married nowadays. Hell, with all of those commitments that Malcolm allegedly made just to be married to her, I wonder, did she have him set up in Costa Rica? I mean, shit, you know? But anyway, let's move along. Now, Tanisha goes on to say that she believes Malcolm's estate does not have enough assets to cover the debt, so she wants the court to allow her to recover the money from his family trust. She is also seeking interest, attorney fees, and an order barring Pam from handing out any money or property from the trust while the case plays out. Now, on top of that, guess who she did an interview with, and it's supposed to air tomorrow.
Don't touch my Come on, with your wig. Come on, wig. My wig.
Like my grandmother used to say, I ain't studying it because I don't like the timing that she chose to actually file this lawsuit. I really don't. I think it's disrespectful. I think it's foul to the 10th power, if I'm keeping it real. Do I think that Malcolm's child should be taken care of? Hell yeah. And if Pamela is not taking care of that child, then that's disrespectful to that child. Now, this is just my opinion, not factual information, but maybe the reason why Malcolm didn't follow through with his promises is based off of the fact that A, he didn't trust her, or B, he just didn't expect to pass away so soon. Because when you look at the dynamics of the fact that Malcolm married Tanisha back in 2022 and didn't make any type of adjustments to his personal affairs that could affect his family if he would pass away, that says a lot in my estimation. That's 2.5 to 3 years that almost went by and he didn't make that adjustment. And so he left his mom in sole possession of his net worth, which was around $3.4 to $4 million. And so we'll just have to see how this thing plays out in court. Tanisha has been on record saying that for the past year, she's been struggling to take care of their child. And so I understand that she may be going through a lot of things financially. So I will keep my eyes and ears open to this case. But again, I want to reiterate, I just don't like how she went about it. But anyway, let's move along, and I want to talk about the Memphis mom, Kendra Scott. I did a video about her a couple of days ago where she walked in the house about 1:30 in the morning and caught a 20-year-old guy underneath her daughter's bed. And as he was leaving out of the house, she went behind him and put a hole in his noggin and basically deleted him. Now, Kendra's daughter was only 1'3", and basically it was said before in previous conversations where Kendra warned her daughter if she caught somebody in her home, what she would do to that particular dude. And she made good on her promise. Now, we're thinking that Kendra is this hardworking mother just trying to provide for her kids, bring them up the right way, and maybe she just has this child that is rebelling. And clearly, that's not the case, according to one of Kendra Scott's friends. I want you guys to take a listen to this audio clip, and then I'll be back.
They were saying that she had got arrested. At that time, nobody knew exactly what had happened. They just said she got arrested and they needed some bun money. At that point, I had cashed out $1,500. I'm thinking it's just for some DV one of her niggas, which is typical normal right? So then when I got the phone call back, they was like, oh, she didn't unalive her. The dude, I'm not gonna say her daughter's name, she still in mine, I'm respect that. She unalived him. Okay, well, the getting the bun. So everybody just held off till we heard more. For one, it wasn't no sneaking in. She knew of their relationship. They had been dating going on 2 years, okay? He was able to come to the house and do everything. However, she had told him he could no longer come over there because she wanted him to pay her light bill. He didn't have the money. So she told her daughter he cannot come over here no more until that mother give her some money, okay? She didn't steal her mama credit card. Her mama got him the Uber because she lied like he was finna bring her cash. That's all he had, cash. He wasn't able to cash out, Zelle, none of that. All he had was cash, right? However, that's why he made it there. She told him she was on the way home. He could be there when she's there so she can get the bread. That's why it's 30 minutes apart. It wasn't no, she was trying to sneak him in and get him there before the mama got home. No, he just arrived literally because it takes about 15, depending on if you in Cordova, it takes about 30 minutes for you to get back to that side of town. Okay, that's how long it took. She got there. He didn't have the money. That's when he ran. They get into an argument. He ran into her room, shut the door. He got up under the bed. She talking. That's when she got the gun, went in there and get my house, all this and that. He said a few words, turned around and walk out. That's when she did what she did. The reason why they're trying to get her for premeditated is because the daughter ended up showing the text messages where she said, if he come back to my house and ain't got my money, I'ma kill him.
Wow.
Yeah, she.
So it's not. Yes, the predator thing.
He should be in jail.
Be a thing. That's an issue. Yes, but however, the mama was condoning the shit going on. Over
yes, the mama needs to be in jail.
To her, we can't say nothing because that ain't our child. We can't do none of that. That ain't our business. However, we could say how that shit is disgusting, but if you allowing it, you would allowing it. She was allowing it because it was making her stay at home to watch the other kids. As far as her having a job and 2-3 jobs, Kiki ain't never held down no job. Yeah, she worked at Amazon. Her real name Kendra, but we call her Kiki. She worked odd jobs here and there, but never held down no job for real, for real.
All right, so you guys just heard that. So this is alleged information. This is supposedly Kendra Scott's friend. A lot of people are pointing out the fact that were they really friends? But I look at the point where her friend is doing the right thing by telling the truth here, if it's the truth, right? Now, it's also been pointed out that the victim had some type of mental disability. And of course, that doesn't excuse him actually taking advantage of her daughter who was 1'3". But hell, when you look at this, and you look at what the friend is saying, was he really taking advantage of her? Yes, lawfully he was, but the mother knew the whole entire time what was going on, and she tried to pimp her daughter to get her bills paid, basically. And so if this story holds up, what in the world were her neighbors talking about, saying that Kendra was a good mother, saying that she was a strong mother and was working to provide for her kids? They blatantly lied about the situation because, or maybe, just maybe, they didn't know the ins and outs of it, right? And so that's what Kendra probably presented herself to be to them. But again, I mean, it doesn't look like she was a good mother. And in the long run, I hope that this young girl has family that would guide her in the right direction, because at the end of the day, she's probably better off with her mother being locked up in prison. But anyway, let's move along. And I want to talk about the Nolan Wells update, because Ben Crump held a press conference at the NAACP Convention Center in Chicago to unveil the results of Nolan Wells' second autopsy. Now, the second autopsy was performed by Dr. Roger A. Mitchell. Very well seasoned, been in the game for over 2 decades, knows what he's doing. So there's red flags everywhere. I mean, for one, Nolan showed up with his throat missing. Also, his lungs were missing. They're saying that there was potential trauma to the back of Nolan's head due to the amount of redness that they found. And so when you look at everything in its totality and the way that it sounded, it seems as though that who's ever conducting the autopsy report in Mississippi definitely tampered with evidence to derail the findings of this second autopsy. I mean, it's just nasty work. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm going to do right here is play you guys a couple of reactions, and then I'll be back.
The independent autopsy and the suspicious death of Nolan Xavier Wells has came back, courtesy of civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who just held a press conference reviewing the findings. And one thing is for certain, the death of Nolan Xavier Wells is beyond suspicious, and the aftermath of his death is even more suspicious, trying to determine the manner in which this young black boy passed away. Off rip, the examiner noted that Nolan Xavier Wells' body was received without imperative body parts that were necessary to come to definitive conclusions surrounding the state of affairs of his death. He was received without his neck region, and that was important to the examiner, according to attorney Ben Crump, because there was a region of soft tissue in the back of his head that had red discoloration, and he needed to independently examine the throat region himself to come to definitive conclusions surrounding trauma, the passage of air, etc., etc. He also did not receive the toxicology reports. He did not receive any information in relation to the stomach contents of Nolan Xavier Wells. When was his last meal? Like, these are things that are imperative for the examiner to know in order to come to these definitive conclusions. However, the fact that we are now seeing that there are things appearing in this autopsy that are leading everybody to believe that Nolan Xavier Wells did not do this to himself. He didn't end up in the water by himself. He didn't end up with a region of red discoloration in the soft tissue of the back of his head by himself. And now everybody is out here changing stories. This happened, that. Everything is leading to the fact that this death of Nolan Xavier Wells is surrounded. It is engulfed in suspicion. What happened to this boy? Why did the Mississippi medical examiner not send Nolan Xavier's throat? Why did he not send the toxicology report or the stomach contents of Nolan Xavier Wells? Why did we still not have any information about the autopsy that was conducted in Mississippi? Why has the family not been notified? These are all questions that are just leading us to believe and us to know that there is some suspicious shit surrounding his death.
I concur, my man. I concur. It's very suspicious. But listen, I'm going to let it go right here. I want to hear from you all. Drop down in the comments and leave your thoughts about everything that I discussed in this video. And I hope you guys continue to have a fantastic day and be blessed. Peace.